Hello, everyone. Wait, what's somebody? Yes, this is the official Fan Takeover Rough Draft Podcast, Megacast, Summer Preview, a little bit of Worlds Preview, Spectacular. I am the official host, Prince of Jedi, friend of Chase, leader, de facto leader of the Rough Draft Discord, and among me today are 5 experts in their fields of knowledge and everything to do with pro League of Legends Esports, starting with Shadow 99008.
Here's it going.
And Mr. Fribble,
Hey.
all across the pond.
I'm completely cutting you off there, because I need no intro. Everyone should know who I am.
A Kegel.
Names are mounted and loaded.
Titan 89.
84, but almost. And yes,
Hey,
I'm
from
the only
Alabama.
one.
That's
I am the only one without a webcam. I apologize, but I don't own one. I'm the substitute here today.
Hey, I got the Alabama math going right now. And Death Star.
Hello. I'm probably a nobody around here, but yeah, whatever. I'm ready to talk to League of Legends.
We're all experts in our area, okay? No nobody's here.
Yes, obviously I have to be the main expert. Alright, so we're going to talk about the EU LCS. They were 4th place as MSI. Everyone's returning because there are no relegations between spring and summer. But there is a shadow over all the EU LCS. So many teams are not going to make it next year. So many teams are not even going to... Yeah, franchising happening, and like in NA, some teams they're not going to feel so well. And let's start with one of them right now. Unicorns of Love. Ooh, what happened? Well, after everyone left, everyone, and they had to start, but they kept exile for a reason that we will find out never. They were bad. Very, 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 very bad. But you know, things happen, years happen, you can gel together. Maybe they get better this year. We have 2 Unicorns of Love fans on this podcast right now. So, the UL fans, before y'all throw anything at me for talking bad about your horsies, how would Unicorns of Love improve from spring to summer? What do you see improvement in? What gave you hope?
I'm going to let Titan go first.
Okay, thank you. What I see that they've actually already improved is that the second half of Spring Split, they actually beat the lower tier teams. They were not just losing left and right or really bad mistakes, they were actually winning games. Against the top teams, they didn't stand a chance. But I think that with the improvements that they have made in communication, they will be in a bit of a contention for playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with that. The communication is the key. I think the top things that they need to do is make sure they're keeping White Knight comfortable. They aren't putting cold on champions that don't work with team comps and don't work with his playstyle. But then also, the main thing, if Exile stops feeding, that is going to be how UOL make playoffs. And if he gains his 2017 spring form, then this team has a chance to go far. That's it. That's all the chances they have. The bot lane's great, especially now that Totoro is talking English to a decent level, at least for pro gaming. I don't see the improvements coming this split, but I think from next year, if they're making it in, which is most likely going to happen, that's where UOL are really aiming for. I don't think they care too much about this year, as long as next year they're doing great things.
Okay, Shadow. What's your opinion on UOL?
I've always probably rated UOL as my favorite EU team. And I think the big player that they kept was Samix. He's, a really good AD carry. I think White Knight's decent. Not a top laner, but not bad. I think as long as they keep Exile, they're going to struggle with being a very good team. I think Totoro will be good. And I think Cold is not a bad jungler. I think that the longer they keep this team, probably the more it improves to its cap, which I don't think they're at yet. But I think as long as they keep Exile, it keeps that cap a bit lower than what it could be.
I have a feeling that if Unicorns of Love, and I look at all these bottom tier teams because there's two teams we're going to talk about later that I don't believe should have made the playoffs in spring, but other teams kind of underperformed in H2K and Rocket, which I'm going to give my reasons later. But I feel like it's Unicorns of Love, Shalke, and Misfits are going to fight for those two spaces that are going to be available right then. Okay, so Death Star, what's your opinion on Unicorns of Love?
Well, Unicorns of Love, for me, I think you guys hit the nail on the head. Samix is a really good AD carry, but because of the problems that they were having with communication and everyone kind of gelling, it made it hard for him to perform. White Knight has shown promise. If he's not given resources, he could still hold his own in lane. Exile, I still don't know why he's on an LCS roster, but like Shadow said, it's having Exile on this roster kind of keeps them from reaching the potential that it could have had, and I don't think Exile should really be on this roster. Totoro's also improving as well. He's speaking better, his English is getting better. And I think the more he learns, the more he'll be able to synergize, and who knows, maybe he can take on a Shockling role or something or duo with Cold as far as Shockling responsibilities go. But but for me, I still don't see UOL making the playoffs. I'll explain why later, but that's basically my spiel on Unicorns of Love.
Okay, let's play a game. Can y'all guess White Knight's KDA, the end of spring?
It was around 2. It was really low.
Yeah, 2.16.
Close enough.
Goal per minute.
Also, I think I deserve my 2 cents on Unicorns.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm not sold on Unicorns of Love at all. I don't think this roster will do better, or fairly better this week. The thing is, Exile is the worst laner by far in the whole league. He has the most deaths by game by a huge margin. Also, White Knight is the worst laner in top lane, and he has a very low kill participation. He's just not around when his team is pulling stuff. It's around 55% from the top of my mind. It's very low. Samux and Totoro, they're decent. They're a good core, to rebuild in the future. And Cold is fairly decent. But if you have 3 decent players, 1 good with Samux, and 2 mediocre, 2 bad players, that's not the team I want. They're definitely out of the playoffs for me.
Okay, let's play the game. What the Exile? Why Exile? All right, how many champions do you think Exile played and have a 0% win rate on? Take a random guess.
I just off the top of my head, I think 6.
Yeah, I was gonna say something like 6 or 7.
Yeah, I wanted
Alright.
to say 6 as well.
6. Yeah, he had played LeBlanc, Vladimir, Corki, Cassian, Galio, and Cassiopeia, and have not won a single game.
But how
Many
of those champions did he play more than once?
Only once. All of them are one-offs. His best champion was Rise at 2-1 with a 66.7 win rate.
I
He's
think
not
it's a little
good.
hard to consider that when if you look at someone like Power Evil suddenly, that makes all of his matchups look bad. Having a losing team makes it so your win rates are going to be bad.
Yeah, I
Alright,
don't think win
yeah.
rate is the right stat to track in this case.
All right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Win rate isn't the right stats to track. Are going to be stuff like gold per minute, damage per minute, CS per minute, gold share is as well. See if I can get those stats up.
I have them right now. This freaking ad has got away, but I want to go here. All right, but I see this team maybe making the playoffs if everything falls into place. They didn't make any changes, so we can't really talk about it. We don't have to talk about. It's going to be how can Exile not int? That's question one. That's my big sneaky big question. Can Exile not int to everyone?
Yeah, I see them just fighting for 6th place to get into playoffs. How they do in playoffs?
All right, want to move on to the next team?
I'm just let's just go around and say where we all think they're gonna finish. That might be a good thing to get people really mad at us for no reason at all.
Mm-hmm.
No, they won't be mad at us for no reason at all.
We'll be fine. We'll live.
I have them missing it.
That's very specific. Any number in particular?
I have them straight missing it.
I had them falling just short at 7th, but I don't have it set in stone. I think they'll be competitive for 6th place in the playoffs, depending on how the team works out. But I don't think they're just out of it.
Yeah. I have UOL finishing 9th in the regular season. I think it's going to be quite similar to spring. There won't be many changes for all the teams, apart from one team in particular. But I think it's going to be quite competitive till the end, and I think it's not going to be till week 8 till we actually exclude a team from playoffs. But yeah, I think UOL is going to be coming in at 9th place.
Yeah, I have placed UOL at 5th, and that is an extremely positive outlook on things, but I think it is possible to get that, and I am a fan at heart, so I will place them.
As for me, I think they can stay competitive for that 6th place playoff spot, but I don't see this doesn't seem like their season for them. I have them sitting at 8th place.
I have them at 9 to 10th. Honestly, I already said I'm not sold on this team at all. I'm looking at the other teams, and I think all of them have a little higher carry potential than this team.
Right? We closing that chapter on Unicorns of Love. Next team.
Yes.
All right, Giants was one of the new teams. Old newest. They got relegated. They came back, and they had this great top laner named Ruin. But everything else was just on fire. Can we say that? That was a good description. Their lanes kind of was on fire. This is our first roster change of this podcast when they added in support Sir Nuxalad. I have no idea who this person is. So I'm gonna trust my EU experts to tell me if he's good or bad or in between or average or whatever. My opinion of Giants is the same. It's the Ruin show. He's going to 1v9. Hopefully the meta with the new items and the new changes will allow him to play more carry top laners, more like Jax or Fiora or Renekton or Riven or Yasuo. I know Shadow don't like Yasuo I don't know why. Yasuo's fun. So, tell me about Sir Nuxalad.
I might be the only person here who knows anything about Sir Nukes-A-Lot. He's been in the Challenger scene for a very long time. He's been, second, third tier for the last few years. He's never been... I don't think he's ever been LCS ready. He's always been in the spot where if you lost your support for some reason, like they broke their hand, they died, or something like that, something that drastic, you'd bring him in for a week because you can't see anyone else close enough that you could pick up. I always think, probably third, fourth support in the Challenger series is. He's the kind of player where if you're going into regionals or you're going into into EU Masters and you need a support, you can pick him up. But I have never seen anything worth much from Sir Nukes-A-Lot.
So why did Giants make this change? Was the last support that bad? That it's like, okay, let's try this journeyman challenger level support. Was it still back decision? He asked for it?
I don't think we know what goes on behind the scenes, but it was obvious Targamas wasn't working for them towards the end of the split. They thought they had to make a change, and they thought it had to be support. I think that's... they had a few other options which could have been a lot better, but obviously they saw Sir Nukes-A-Lot as the best fit for Steelback.
I mean, when we're talking about Giants here, can anybody try to guess Steelback's KDA?
It was bad. He was the worst at the league. I will just say that. I'll let it
Just guess the number. KDA.
I'll say something like 1.2.
I say 2.
3.7. Which is it is the worst number of all AD carries in the league.
Yeah.
And if you are an AD carry that performs that badly, and he says the support is not helping me, then they have to change the support, because Steelback is not that bad of an AD carry. He can do a lot better.
Yeah, he can. We saw it when he was back on UOL, and we haven't seen it since.
Unfortunately.
Maybe something in the water that Unicorn feeds them to make them good. Maybe XI need to drink more of the water. Okay.
Yeah, when I was looking at the numbers, that was the thing that surprised me the most. Steelback, because everything else fell around what I expected. Like Ruin was fairly good, decent. Joko was just average. But then I saw Steelback, I was like, yeah, this is not working out. So that's my main concern. If they can work out that bot lane synergy, I think they can do well, like border playoffs. But if not, they're 9th place too.
Point. There's this magical place called NA. They give you lots of money to be okay. Alright.
I think my thoughts on Giants basically stays the same. I don't think anyone's going to say that they upgraded in support. Whether or not Steelback will work better with Sir Nukes-A-Lot, I would hope so. And if he can, then I think Giants can definitely have a good chance to fight as a decent roster. But I think either way with the change, I don't think they need a ton of change, to be honest. I think their mid laner, well, iffy. I think their AD carry should be good. Their new support might enable the AD carry. Top laner's good. Jungler's good.
So this is another team. I like. They just needed a season to like jail, pretty much.
I think there's a good chance they're one of the teams fighting to not get relegated.
Okay. Death Star, what's your opinion on Giants gaming?
I think Giants gaming, like, I don't really see like that what Sir Nukes-A-Lot can bring to this team. I never really followed Challenger all that much, but as far as I'm concerned, maybe Targamas wasn't the answer. Maybe him and Steelback didn't work out. But do you really think Sir Nuxalok can survive against someone like a Norse Garen? Would you take Sir Nuxalok against someone like Kasing? Like, I don't see what he brings that'll elevate this roster. I think they can fight for that playoff spot, but it's going to be really close. Like, they'll probably just either miss out or just sneak in. For me, I don't see them doing much. I have them at 10th.
So do you have them surviving the franchising?
Ooh, Giants. It's possible, given that they do have the Vodafone. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. Someone educate me. They do have that sponsorship going for them, and other like endemic sponsors. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see if they actually do make it.
Titan?
Yeah, I don't think this team is gonna make it. Making roster changes mid-season is always a gamble because you do need some synergy going through the splits, and I don't see Zanuxala bringing anything that Targamas wasn't providing already. So I have Giants at 9.
Alright, you were about to say something?
Yeah, I'm going to say, they've made the support roster move. They've made a change at coach as well. They've brought in Koobs as their coach, who I see as someone who is pretty good at developing talent, but I don't think he's good at actually coaching them at a high level. I think if you've got, I'd say kind of Yamato Cannon kind of coach, where you get him to grow your team and get them used to the stage, which I think has been a massive help would be a massive help for like, Ruin and Joko. Hopefully Betsy and Steelback as well will benefit from him. So Nukeslot is someone who would definitely need that. But yeah, I have Giants coming in 10th just because they've made such a drastic change that I don't think they're going to adapt quick enough to properly compete for playoffs. I think they'll mathematically be in the running for it, but I don't think that they'll feasibly be able to make it.
Okay. Well, my opinion on Giants is that, like I said, it's the Ruin show. I think next year will be interesting because if Ruin becomes one of the top 3 top players in EU, we can build around him. So you can have a whole new roster plus Ruin, and you have franchising money, so you might bring in a top laner to pair up with Ruin. I would be looking, if we're going to talk about LCK a little bit, I'll be looking at KT Roasters if they want to keep that roster together. Might maybe poach one of them if they want to stay or want to come to Europe. So that they're one of my teams that maybe they interesting. Next 5 years they might be better. Next year we might be talking about them being like the new Vitality, they came out of nowhere and shocked the world. All right, the next team, the second new team, it's Shalke-Know-Fear. They are also the second team that made a change, replacing Pride Stalker with Amazing. I have nothing else to say. Y'all can talk about this. I'm just gonna sit here and just wonder why.
I'll go first because I think I'm the closest here to a fan of Shalke-Know-Fear. But that's mainly just because my favourite player is Vizicachi, and he brings a very interesting style to the top lane. He's amazing at laning, he's amazing at getting the kills, but he's also dies a lot, and that's what this whole team did. They were a bit over-aggressive at times and a bit under-aggressive at other times. They would always have these great games where they'd go in, they'd get the kills, and they'd kind of forget about objectives sometimes. And I think that's why they've had to make the change from Pride to to Amazing. because I think he brings in the veteran leadership that they really needed, because you've got Upset there, who was a rookie last split. You've got Vander, who hadn't been in the LCS for a year. You've got Nuke Duck, who's always kind of tried to be this star player. He's always... Everyone says he's better than he's shown on stage, which has happened to a lot of people, but I think he really can show a lot more if he just has the right people calling for it. We have Chachi, I think, last split. He was coming into a new team. He wasn't getting into the leadership role like he had on UOL. So I think this is really going to be Amazing's team. He's going to lead this team, and I think that'll give us some improvement from them. Like, I don't have them getting playoffs this year. I think this is definitely a thing that they're going to be working on. I have Shalke coming 7th, just missing out because I think improvement from other teams are going to just keep them out.
Here's, okay, everyone else's opinion on this amazing roster change.
Oh my god. No, please stop with the puns.
The puns are coming.
No,
P2.
I guess I'll go next. So I think I was a little bit disappointed. I was at the beginning of the season. I was all on the hype train of Shell. They had like star top laner Chachi, who was really, really good on UOL. They have Nuke Duck, who was always a really good mid laner. He just never really had like the pieces around him to actually like succeed on the LCS stage, even if he has like made a couple playoffs. But he never really got to reach his true potential. He got Upset, this star rookie AD carry at the time. Everyone was looking at him. Everyone was looking at him to be the next AD carry to probably challenge that throne. And with the leadership of Vander, I think he could have gone further. But the problem is that they were over-aggressive. They were greedy. They were making unnecessary plays. And I think having Amazing on this roster, I don't think it's a major upgrade, but I don't think it's a complete downgrade. He can bring that veteran leadership into that role, into the jungle position. It's all a matter of, like, can Shulk contain their aggression and play a more controlled style? That's what I want to see. I want to see this roster mature a little bit. However, there's a chance. I think, compared to the other teams, I think Shulk has a chance to sneak into the playoffs compared to like Giants or UOL. In fact, it's funny you mentioned Shulk in playoffs because I have them in 6th place for the regular season. I think they can do it. I think Upset is going to have learned from Spring Split, and he's going to transition all that experience into summer and hopefully help carry this Shulk roster to a playoff.
All right, Shadow, then Titan, then a Kegel, then I have a sneaky big question about Nuke Duck.
I think for me personally, Shulk was like the most disappointing team in Spring Split. I expected them to be one of like the top 4 teams even, with having such a strong top laner, having, a decent bot lane, a good mid laner, well, sometimes, and then a decent jungler. I think, needless to say, they didn't do that, and I'm a little apprehensive of like being confident in them again. I think this team, something about it, it's just weird that they don't manage to line up their skill. But even in saying that, I think that this change probably doesn't hurt them any, and their team itself is probably going to improve enough that I put them personally just scraping in at 6th. Will I get burned for putting them at 6th? Probably, but we'll see what happens.
I don't see this team making it into playoffs this year either. This Vizicachi just doesn't work in this team. It didn't work in spring. I don't see the communication improving with completely changing out the jungler mid-season, because Amazing will be taking the shot calling because he has the experience, and that can be good, that can be bad, but I don't see this team meshing early enough in the season to be able to completely get to that 6th place. I have Shalke-Know-Fear at 8th place.
Alright, so my impression on Shalke-Know-Fear, I was very confused to where to place them because they have very good players, but they were meshing, and I think the Amazing change will help because they will get the experience and shot calling, but I don't think this will help them a lot because we're moving into a more carry-oriented jungler, a very aggressive jungle style. And I'm not sure that someone that hasn't played for a season will be able to quickly adapt to that. So I think they will start slow and then reasonably strong. I have them on the playoff race, but at the end I put them to the coaching staff, and the coaching staff didn't do it for me so far. So I have them at 7th to 6th, fighting their way.
Alright, here's my sneaky big question about Nuke Duck. Is he like the starting mid laner of the year of team? Like, every year is supposed to be the year of Nuke Duck, and somehow failure at launch. So is he the starting mid laner of the year of team? From a popular NA meme. Shadow knows about it.
It's a great meme. Like, yeah, of course, everyone's going with Nuke Duck, but that's because he shows so much just before the split. He shows his potential every split. He just can't ever fully realize it sometimes because his shot calling on the team isn't good enough. Because some of the people he's playing with are underperforming, and that puts too much weight on him. And I think if you put too much weight on Nuke Duck, he breaks down. I think he's a brilliant player to have as a second option, but I don't think having him as your main carry is ever going to work properly. He'll flourish in a number 2 role, but never as a number 1.
All right. Anyone wanna add to that?
I think that's a pretty good explanation of it.
Okay.
I agree
That was
mostly.
amazing. That was an amazing analysis, guys. Amazing. I'm done now.
No.
That pun was misfitted. And so we could talk about the 7th place team and my most disappointing team, Misfits. They got to Game 5 of SKT to 7th place of EU LCS. So obviously, EU LCS over Korea confirmed after this performance. Because of, if the team that took a world finalist to 5 games can't make it into the playoffs, that means the teams are just too good. Okay, so we all know the team. It's Afari, Maxlor, Demux, Hasama, and Mickey. Mixie, yeah. Words are hard, by the way. This is the Alabama education. Yeah, this is the Alabama education coming in. Roll Tide. So, I'm gonna give it to y'all because my favorite Mixed Fist is like they should make playoffs, but until I see them in playoffs, they're not a team that I'm going to care about much because they have nothing interesting about them, in my opinion. I can be totally wrong. I really am wrong, but it happens. So, what's your opinions? We'll start from. Okay, let's start. Who's the closest Misfits fan?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard to say.
Well, let's go with Death Star. You haven't started first. You go Death Star, then Shadow, then Mr. Fribble, then Titan, then the Kegel.
Okay, so Misfits, I'm not really like surprised that a lot of people are disappointed in their performance. They had a really good early game for the majority of this season, especially if you look back at their first half, they were dominating. But as Split Out went on, you started to notice the flaws in their mid to late game shot calling, and that's where you saw all these different mistakes and places and lane assignments on the map. You also saw Sam Cooks kind of like not performing to the level he did when he was on Splice. You had like the only bright spot I saw on that team was Hansama. Hansama was probably like the glimmer of hope that Misfits even had to win a game, because we've seen him step up, haven't we? I mean, Maxlor looked really bad. I did not understand like why he made the decisions he made sometimes, and like Alfari was pretty solid, but I think like the biggest liability on that team was obviously Semcux, as well as like how they played the mid to late game. They struggled to close out games, and at the end of the day, it really hurt them. And that's why you see Misfits where they are now. They end 7th. But I think we've seen what their coach Moose. I'll just call him Moose. Can do. We've seen him bring like these players together and actually make a run for the LCS title. And I think this is going to be their year. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to bet on Misfits, and I'm going to say that they end the regular season in 5th place.
All right.
I think my thoughts on Misfits going into spring was a little probably less hype. Well, I don't know if it's probably less. I wasn't excited for them, having lost Power Eagle and
Power Eagle and Ignore.
Yeah, having lost those two, who were both really big parts of the team, I thought they'd probably drop a bit to competing for around 6th place to get into playoffs. How they do in playoffs, I think that Misfits is a weird team that's really good in playoffs because they plan well. I didn't think they'd be that great, and I wasn't amazed that they missed playoffs in terms of how I expected them from the start. How they played throughout the season, I thought they could have been a really good team, and they just like did silly things that kept them from being the top team or one of the top teams. But I think they have all the pieces right now still. Having Hansama, who's competing to be a top AD carry in EU, behind Reckless, I believe, but he's definitely up there. And then having decent players around, I think that if they can bring things together, they can be one of the top teams.
Okay, sneaky big question. Do you think they're going to try, if they make it? I'm pretty sure I think this is one of the safer teams. It's sponsored by Miami Heat. Do you think they're going to try to get Power Eagle back or get a more dominant mid laner than Sumux? Because they will look the best when they have like a hard, I'm gonna smash your face in mid laner in Power of Evil. Mm-hmm. You think that's the big roster change next split? Next year? I don't know who'll be available, maybe?
If they don't make top 3, they're going to make that change middle lane. They have a really amazing core. They've got the really good 1-2-3 punch of Hansama, Alfari, and Maxwell. That core of the team, as long as they are performing well, we've always seen Hansama perform well. It's just as long as Maxwell can step up, they are a top 3 team. Even with Senku's underperforming a little bit, they have Mickey, who is arguably the best support in EU, and their team is really good. It's just, can they figure out their mid and late game, which I think is down more to the combo of Max or Mickey than anything else. It's and also, can they play around Senkuks? Of course, he's not a primary or secondary carry. He's very, very low econ, but he will perform well in team fights as long as you're giving him the right calls. And if they can work well with a mid laner that isn't always going to get priority for mid lane, he's more likely to gracefully lose than smash the lane. I'd say that if mid lane is even for them, they should do well. It's just as long as they keep Senkuks on in a good matchup, and they keep Alfari on a good matchup. Especially with the mesh changes, because Maxler is seems a lot more comfortable trying to carry from jungle. I think he's going to be the best option for number 2 next split. I think they're going to do well. I have them getting 4th in the regular season, and I definitely have them getting through to semi-finals. It's just a case of how well can they perform with their more standard style than last year.
Okay. Titan?
Yeah, I completely agree with Shadow that Power of Evil and Ignar's departure was the major problem for them this past split. They had fantastic early game, one of the best in the league, but closing out games, that never worked. And since it was so clear for so long that they had this problem and never managed to fix it, I'm afraid that they might not have been able to fix it yet. But if they do, they are going to be one of those teams that can reach up for the third place. They can challenge the best teams in Europe. But if they keep showing up that we have to win pre 30 minutes or we have lost 100%, they might struggle. And that also depends on the meta, where that will settle. But Senkuks needs to step up so hard, because he did not look good for most of the split. And I have placed Misfits in the end at 6th place. I think they will reach that playoff spot. They will clinch it, but that is mainly not due to them being good. It is down to the other teams being bad.
Alright, so Akego, what's your opinion on this ban of Misfits?
Alright, so remember when I said that Exile was the worst laner in the league? I guess I was wrong, because it's actually Senkuks. And that is worrying.
That is a sign. That's a bad sign.
Yeah, so I'm very torn on this team, because I want to like them. Hansam is really good, Alfaro is really good. Max Lord should be good. Mickey X is very solid as a support. But they're just getting figured out. They're just not putting it together. So, well, their coaching staff has not been impressive to me this year in particular. I have them around 5 to 6. I think they will still make playoffs, but I don't have very high hopes for them after that,
Also,
unless they get figured out. They have the highest potential if they figure it themselves out, in my opinion.
Well, also remember that a lot of their went like the head analysis went to Clutch Gaming, which we're going to talk about in a later podcast. A little preview of that. Okay.
Also, how would you guys feel about Nuke Duck Misfits?
I think it works.
I don't see a problem with that.
It works, but
I
it's
just
not going to
see-
happen.
Hey,
I think I
yeah,
have a
probably.
different opinion on some players, and I personally already like their mid laner.
see, what song is Rocket playing? If Misfits playing outside of Optic Gaming House to get Power of Evil back? Is it
they
Baby
are.
Come Back?
They aren't. Bringing Paraveal back is a bad idea. He's a
saying
great
bye.
player, but he's a great player, but he just has the ability to solo lose you that game when in the regular season. He, I think, costs 2 or 3 places in the regular season, and he generally steps up quite well. Best of 5s, like we always like Misfits in best of 5s because they prepare really well, but it's also because their team always steps up in best of 5s, always. Yeah, I think they need a more consistent mid laner, and as long as Senku improves and they play around him better, that Senku can be that guy who holds down the mid lane really well and is just consistent and lets the rest of the team flourish.
Okay. All right, no problem. Okay, so I've seen a lot of things. I saw my hometown, Philadelphia Eagles, with a backup QB win the Super Bowl against one of the best ever. So I'm confused, very confused. How the hell Rocket made the playoffs? How? How this happen?
Because the Rocket are gonna make worse
team.
this split.
They're Chase's team. Chase can have nice things.
Okay.
So we went through this.
Yeah. Went through it.
The thing you forgot is Rockat's coach, Freddie 122. He is an amazing coach. He took that team. He took Moscaran was an amazing support last split. Hiku performed finally. Then you also have Memento, who I have really liked since the start. He can be a great leader. He can be a great player. I do think he's kind of. I don't think he's hit ceiling, but I think that he's just an average jungler in EU at the moment. I think he can improve a bit more. But I think the solo lanes are really what pulled them into playoffs, because Prophet, we saw from him on NIP, we saw from him on SPT, he just split pushes. And I think a lot of the lower tier teams weren't able to deal with it well enough, that, and some of the top tier teams as well. Like, just his split pushing was there all the time. You couldn't take your eyes off him, or he's taking a tower or two. And then on top of that, you've got Blanc, who was amazing in the mid lane. I can't remember his stats off the top of my head, but
I can pull him up right now.
Yeah, his laning seemed amazing. He was making some really good map movements as well, and I think the duo of Prophet and Blanc it put them from the outside looking in to the inside having a party. That's what I see. Like, and I think because they haven't made any swaps, the main roster or their coaching staff, I could see the team improving, but I think they might have hit their ceiling in last split. I can't remember if they their end of the split very well, but just going through. Yeah, they
swept.
Yeah, they kind of held 6th place for pretty much the whole split. Yeah, and then they got swept in playoffs. I don't see them improving from last split, so I have them falling a couple of spots. I have them coming in 8th place. Just because even though I really like Freddy as a coach, I really like Memento as a jungler, I do really like the team. It's just, I don't think they're going to do quite as well this split.
Did he win coach of the split? Freddie Woods 1-2-2?
No, it was Peter Dunn.
Yeah, Peter Dunn won it.
Taking this team now, he should have won it. He beat Chase's curse. He's the coach of it. All right, everyone else. Well, Chase Shadow, Titan, Death Star. No, a Kegel, Death Star. What's your opinions on this? How? I'm still wondering how.
I'm honestly not too surprised. I think with EU LCS looking or being expected to be so much like not weaker, but definitely more up in the air last split, I'm not surprised Rawcat was a team that was able to do something with it. They've for a long time been like a team that builds up players and then is like, oh, I guess we can't keep them. And you notice that like a lot. If you look around ELCS, you'll see a lot of past Rawcat players because they can get players and sort of build them easily. With this roster, I think they did that less so than they've done before. But I still expected them to be able to build up the players enough to where they were competitive for playoffs. Do they do well in playoffs? No. Do I think they'll make it to playoffs now? I think they'll be one of the teams that kind of fall short. I don't think it will be like a big divide this season either. I think it'll, like Global said earlier, you won't really know who's out of it or in until like the last couple weeks. But I think Rocket's going to be one of the teams that just isn't able to bring it all together and falls short.
Okay.
I have my worries about this Rocket roster. That the EULCS is so incredibly tough. From 5th to 10th place, the teams are incredibly close. Yes, some have better at some positions, some are better at other positions, but when it comes down to the team play, you really need to step up your gear this summer, because every single team will be stepping up their shit. And I don't see this Rocket team being able to up their game as much as the other teams can. I'm having a sneaking suspicion that they might do some panic roster changes 5-6 weeks in and then just plummet because things aren't going as well as they hoped.
So tell me a team that chased.
I actually have Rocket at 10. I have them stone dead last.
That's strong, man. That's strong.
That's hard.
Okay, Death Star and Akeko, what's your opinion on?
So Rocket, I mean, I didn't have high hopes for his team. I still don't, despite their playoff berth. Problem is, like, they got figured out. They were so used to playing from ahead. They were so used to dominating their lane. Like, Prophet was used to being that big, annoying split pusher in the top lane. Flank was, like, crushing people. Norskaren and DQ looked like a solid bot lane, but the problem is that they didn't know how to play from behind. If you notice that whenever Rocket fell behind, they didn't know what to do. And when you watch that Splyce versus Rocket game, or series, whatever, you know,
Expedition, but go with that.
You watch that series, like Rocket didn't know what to do whenever they lost their, either lost their lead or didn't have a lead to begin with. So, I think unless this team knows how to actually play from behind instead of, hey, we must win our lane and snowball, otherwise we're doomed. I don't see them making playoffs if this decline continues. I have them at 9th place.
Alright, Akeo?
I seem to be a little higher on them than my co-hosts. I actually have them battling for 6th as well. I think they will be right up there with HUK and Mystics. I think those three will be battling for the 5th to 6th spot. Basically, I really want to love this team. I think Memento and Hikyu and Norskaren are very solid players. Profit was surprisingly far better than we all expected last season. But I also will concede that they're solid, but I don't think they will be strong enough to make a further impact. So maybe they will qualify for players, but I don't think they will get to semis. That's about it.
All right. That was, but Rocket going to have a rocky start if they don't get some changes.
Why
And I
did we
laughed.
say yes to discuss?
Can we? Can we?
You know, because your fans are still in the basement. All right. So,
Also,
my
wait, I forgot to mention it. The reason why I have them 6 and not lower is because I think the meta changes will benefit them. So yeah, that's the upside I give it.
Okay. Well, the next team we'll gather here today for the last split of H2K. No, they're not making it in. We after the crap they pulled up, they're not making it in. So this is the last time we're going to see H2K Gaming in the LCS because they're gone. So what would their song be?
I don't know. I'll try and find something.
Also, they made the playoffs, which I don't know how either, but
Also, they won me the EU-only Rough Drafts Fantasy League last split.
hey, how? There's a story behind this. How?
So, I was doing well, but I had Kadril in the mid lane, and I had Max Law in the jungle, and then H2K made their changes, and I picked up Shook and Selfie, and I won the league. Because Shook and Selfie transformed that team from a bottom feeder to a proper playoff-worthy team. With Selfie is an amazing player, and Shook has a great leadership quality. Like, they came fifth last split. I had
Vitality to 5 games. So that's
they took Vitality to 5 games. Like, HK, they're probably not getting into the EU partnership scheme. Like, just like Rocket definitely are. Like, both of those teams are gone, and I think we're going to get another surprise in someone who's going to be gone
G2
for next year. No, not G2. Definitely not G2.
But it would be hilarious to think about it. Also, talking all that crap. Next thing you know, he's gone.
Yeah, but yeah, with HDK, I like the team. I have HDK coming 6th, just because I see the improvement from Misfits, keeping them in 6th place. I think what happens at the end of the split is we have a tiebreaker between HDK and Shalke, but I think Selfie is just in that series the best player on the Rift. Because he's really good. It is. I do like the team. They're separating after this split because they're gone. They have a win condition. They have their win condition of you play through mid lane. Hopefully, top lane doesn't feed too much, and bot lane is surprisingly solid. It is. Sheriff and Promiscu, they're a really good bot lane, and I think that's what keeps them in playoffs. This split is they aren't particularly going to lose lane that badly. They're going to be a team. They want to win mid lane and bot lane. Then from that they want to control the tempo of the game, and they're going to. I think they're going to challenge the top teams, but fall short of the top 4. And I think they are just going to manhandle the bottom 3 teams in the league. So definitely a playoff roster, but how far they go is entirely up to how well they can prepare.
All right. Everyone else, a Kegel, because y'all even near the end, so.
Yeah, well, I'm a little lower on H2K, and a fair bit lower. I also have them battling for the 6 spots. Basically, I think the roster is very, very solid, but I don't think the meta benefits them in any way. And pretty much that's about it. I have a lot of respect for Selfie and Shook. But will that be enough? I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, I have them around there battling. They're definitely a contender though, so don't sleep on them.
All right, Shadow.
I'm a lot less high on this H2K roster. I don't think they were that great in spring, personally. I think they only really did that great because EU LCS was pretty weak in spring. And I think a lot of teams not made changes, but improved what they're going to need to improve on. And I don't think this H2K roster is as good as anything that they did in spring. So I actually put them as low as 10. And like I said, I think the bottom 3 or even 4 is kind of competitive in terms of maybe a game or two at most between taking 6th or 10th, sort of how last split went. But I don't think this team's that great. I think they're probably going to be battling it out in the bottom rings, and I think they're going to fall short.
All right, Titan and then Death Star.
Yeah, I don't understand I do understand some of the hype for this team, but
You seem have hype.
Well, I do understand that, but they always forget about Smitty J in the top lane, because that was a train wreck. It went so fast, and yet it worked sometimes. His KDA is 1.8, the worst in the league. He's after White Knight, but he has the best kill participation at 79%. That's just but I think I completely agree with Cable that that the meta for the summer, top lane is going to be so much more important, that you can have carry top laners that completely destroy the enemy team early game. I don't see Smitty J being that player for HDK. If they had replaced him with someone else, anyone else really, they could have had a chance, but I'm seeing them at 7th.
H2K, H2 what? H2K. Yeah. LCS last season was so close that I'm pretty sure we've been discussing this throughout the podcast from time to time. It's so close, you never know who's going to slip into that 6th spot. And HK is one of those teams where they could do it. But Smitty J is such a liability to the team. As much as I like Shook, Selfie, Sheriff has kind of gotten my attention as a potential good AD carry. And Promise Q has proven that he isn't a corpse of a support. But I really feel like as long as Smitty J is up in the top lane, it's going to hinder their success. It's like I said, it's still possible for them to get into playoffs given how close everyone has been last season. But I think they're just going to fall short of making the playoffs. I have them at 7th place.
You know what would be the darkest timeline for Riot is H2K wins Europe and goes to Worlds, knowing that they're not going to make it.
Right should just tell all the team to just drop one game against H2K, make them have their last hurrah be something worth remembering.
Immortal surprises H2K. They're gone. They want a letter.
They don't deserve a huge send-off at this point. So I want to give some interesting stats before we continue the discussion.
Yeah.
Because Sheriff and Promise Q are both the highest skill participation in their respective roles, also Selfie. So they really know how to work well around that 3-man core. Shook surprisingly has the lowest skill participation from junglers, so that's not a good sign going into this meta.
Yeah, those are interesting stats. So we have all of their laners have great kill participation, which means they're working really well as a unit. But I don't think they were working well as a unit until Shook came in. I think he maybe doesn't have the kill participation because he's the shot caller and he's maybe stepping back and making sure he knows what's going on before the fight happens, and then he's coming in late, or he's getting something on the other side of the map whilst his team takes a fight, which he thinks they can win.
Okay, a small, sneaky big question. Is Smithy J the top laner? Do you see other top laners say, you know what? I'm going to pull Yasuo on him. Look, I'm going to pull Yasuo against Smithy J.
I think Smitty J is the top laner who he knows he's not as good as everyone else. So, but he knows that if he pulls out something weird, the person across from him is gonna be a little bit confused, and he can take advantage of that. I see him there. He's more there for, I'd say, a secondary shot calling role, a bit of engage, a little bit of extra damage in a team fight, and he's the curveball that HGK can throw at you.
Okay. One day they're going to about H2K the Wise. They save all the other EU teams, but not themselves.
The thing about Smithy J is that he has the highest nets in the lane by far. So
oh yeah,
that's very abusable by other teams.
Are they going to be able to abuse it harder than they did in spring, though? That's the problem.
I'd rather feel like I rather fear not a Fed on, but a Fed Jack with Trifle 10 minutes in. Probably when he say, let's do this and be light post. Because Jack thinks, all right.
So a small bit on the Shook about staying back and calling his team. While I agree that worked for spring, can he play like that in this meta? I don't think so. We're very on an aggressive, go in your face jungler style.
Alright. So, here it is. One of the most interesting teams of EU, I think the most interesting team in NA. Vitality. With they surprise everyone. They have a bunch of young players. They have They have the Italian Stallion. They have Cabashard. And then they have their jungler, Gilius. God Gilius himself, hallowed be thou name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. On the rift, as it is heaven, sayest thy day, amen. I am going to hell. So
there's only one savior, and it is forgiven. So that's blasphemy.
Let's put forgiven on Vitality.
Yes, please.
Breaking point part two.
Have him replace Attila.
Okay, so Vitality, they were the fourth place team. They started off high, then they fell down. So, question, over or under, how many bears did Gilius get stolen from him?
Is yes the right answer?
Yes.
Will Gilius
0.7 per game? Is that a number?
0.9 per game? I have no idea.
You know what the funny thing is? This podcast is kind of small, but I'm pretty sure he will reply to this and cuss all of us out.
We're on that list right now, so don't worry.
He will call us out.
Who do you want to start with Vitality then? Who is going to be the one to piss off Gilius first?
I can start it off if you want to.
Yes.
I'd be more than happy to.
because I understand that Gilius he talks himself up, but his stats doesn't follow at all. He has the worst kill participation in the LCS junglers, and that includes Kadro.
So I have a question about Rift Rivals. Echo Fox in there, and that's Dardoch and Gilius.
No,
No.
If
Gilius isn't in it.
Yeah,
Oh,
Vitality
he's
didn't
not.
make it to Rift Rivals.
Yeah,
Oh,
they didn't
I
make it.
want to see. I want to talk some shit to Dardoch.
Sorry.
And Dardoch just
I-
sits on him.
Like, the thing I wanted to see from Rift Rivals the most when I saw Vitality at the top was I wanted to see, not like they interview Gilius and Dardoch and they talk trash about each other. I wanted just to see those two in the same interview. Because I think that would be the most interesting interview to watch in all of League of Legends history. Because
I think Dardoch was
they
throwing
are the
hands.
two, from their regions, they are the most outspoken about their play and their teams, and also the ones that are the most likely to talk trash because they know that, or they at least believe that they and their teams can back up their trash talk.
So what if they were a caster duo?
Oh my god.
Oh my god,
No.
this is trash. He's still
Okay.
trash.
That'd be I'd love to watch that Duracast, but I think we should make it
That'd be
TriCast and
fun.
add double lift in there.
Why not? Why not? Can't have a trash talking cast if you don't have the king of trash talking.
I just wanted Kano Gillis to say something. Dardoch. If Dardoch don't respect you, he did what he did to Lyra. He pretty much in your face 24/7. Okay, we're talking about Echo Fox, but here's my thing with Vitality. Can they keep it up? Cause now the rookies are known. They have tape on them now. You have tape on the Jusuke. You know how you play against them. And at the end of the split, they kind of tape it off. So, guys, do y'all think Vitality can keep it up? Do you think? Okay, this is the first team I'm gonna ask. Do y'all think Vitality can make it to Worlds?
No.
It's simple.
Yes.
The possibility is there, and that
They-
is terrifying.
Yes.
Gilius
yeah.
versus Peanut. I want it.
Yeah, I'm just...
No. Gilius versus MLXG.
That is the game where both junglers can shine and both junglers can live in the gutter.
They both miss Smite at the same time. There goes to no one.
So I want to see Gilius versus Tearwolf, and it will be like the most passive jungling ever because everyone will be in the other jungle, so they will never see each other.
Like,
Yeah. Maybe we should actually analyze this team instead of laugh about them.
Yeah.
Because they're a very good team.
They are a very good team, but they do
They
have
are.
one really big flaw that not too many pick up on, and that is the support. Jack Troll sticks with his AD carry far too much, and he is not really part of the team. He is more than 10% less skill participation than any other support in the league. That is way too low. So, if other teams want to abuse them, they have to abuse the fact that Jack Troll will be there.
or abuse,
Yeah. I think Vitality have been figured out, not because people have tape on them, but because you know exactly what they're going to do. They do have the couple of players that are going to pull something out amazing every once in a while, but you have Gilius, he's going to play aggressive. You know he's going to play aggressive, he's incredibly confident and he believes he's the best. So he's going to play aggressive because he thinks no one can match him. You've got then you've got the weak support in Jack Troll. I think he's going to improve for this split, but I don't think he's going to be a top tier support. But then you have the other three. The three I would say you're looking at. You've got Cabochard. He can pull whatever he wants out. He can. If you give him counterpick, he's more than likely going to win the lane. He has some really niche picks, and he is best on a carry, which is like most of this team. You've got Gilius, who is aggressive. He likes playing the carries. Sometimes he plays tanky junglers, but that's not going to be in the meta, especially not at the start of the split. We've got Jizuke, who is their number one. He is the guy that they're going to look at and go, it's on you to carry the game every single time. He has some great picks that he can pull out, but he's best when he can roam around. He can get Cabochard a lead. He can because he does go top a lot. Then we've also got Attila, who was mini Truepack's last split. He is a pretty good AD carry, and he struggled towards the start, and he got better as the split went on. In playoffs he performed pretty well as well. I quite liked the performance from him, and you put him on something that can win lane, because he's always going to have the support with him, and when the other support roams mid or goes into your jungle, that bot lane can just take control of the lane. And also, Attila has been great in team fights. I like his positioning, I like his damage output. I'm not looking at any stats for this. This is everything I've seen in team fights just proves, and their macro play. They are an incredibly aggressive team that's going to try and punch you in the face, and they think that they can take control of the game before you can get back up. They just want to knock you out. They'll try and win by TKO every single time. They're never going for a slow, controlled victory. They're going for the fast, aggressive play.
Okay. Anyone else want to talk about Vitality? Move on.
I think Vitality is an interesting team that I think is going to drop at least a little bit for this. I don't think they're going to be nearly as strong as they were. But earlier when you asked if they could make Worlds, I don't think it's out of the question. They're not.
It's possible.
They're not the team that most people will be looking at. I think a lot of people are probably going to say G2, Fnatic, and then whichever team they're most leaning towards. For me, it's Misfits. But I think right now it's still pretty up in the air how well they'll do. They can be really good or they can be really bad.
Alright, anyone else? Kegel?
Kegel's disconnected for some reason, not sure why.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go then.
Are we still recording?
Yeah, we've still got recording.
Yeah, we are.
Right.
So I really liked them from the start, especially when I saw 4/5 of this roster on the Giants Challenger squad. And like they were really fun to watch. You got Jizuke in the mid lane, literally dominating every matchup, as well as Cabochard, and like Cabochard, you put him in a comfortable position, he's basically gonna win the lane. Mini Truepack, I feel like he can be your number 2 guy, because you can't put it all on Jizuki, especially when you look at the fact that towards the second half of the split, people started to think, hey, you're useless if Jizuki does not get ahead. So we're just going to shut him down and make sure you're unable to get back into the game. And that's what really did them in, and it wasn't until Mini Trupex stepped up as a secondary carry that they were actually able to start taking wins and start being competitive again. My one concern is... Huh?
Oh, he did change his name.
Attila, yeah. My one concern is, does Gilius know where his smite key is? I feel like he took that off of his keyboard for some reason.
Hey, we'll talk
And
about
that's how he got his... and that's how he got Baron stolen, like, how many times now? Yeah. I really feel...
Also, in the same place where double his flash key.
That's right. I forgot. He's saving his smite for when he has to compete for Worlds.
Yes.
But, yeah, I really feel like Gilius needs to kind of up or shut up at this point. And otherwise, I really think the coaching staff is going to have to take away his Twitter account for like a full season or so. If he can't back up that trash talk. And Jack Troll, I don't think it's out of the question that he could be a top tier support. Kimato Cannon, who has always been good at bringing up young players. This is only his second split, and I wouldn't be surprised if Yamato Cannon was able to kind of help him make the improvements that he needs to be a really good support. That he's not going to stick to Attila 24/7. That he can roam. That he can effectively with Gilius. So I can see Vitality actually contending for a world spot. I have them in 4th place.
All right. So we're going over. So you're going over to Splice now.
Well, we've got Kegel back. If he wants to say anything.
Gagel? Hello?
Is my mic on?
The mic is on.
Okay.
Alright. Alright. So, Gagel.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. Hi.
Alright. So you want to talk about Vitality? We made all the Gilly. Now he...
Okay.
all of us. Hello?
Did we lose him again?
Did Gillies get him? Oh god, he's watching right now. Shout! You ran us out!
Gilius used to smite. I think his smite only works on
People
humans.
talk shit about him. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's go over to Splice. This team that is so up and down. Like they made Worlds 2 years ago. They was a 3rd place team. Everybody remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Then they didn't do good last year. Now they're doing good this year. Is this another down year? Because here's a team right now. They have Omar Romney, Zerxay. Why do we let him go? Miss Q, Kobe, and Kasing. By the way, you have to say Kobe like that. Kobe.
No, I won't.
You will.
No.
Still in the basement. Okay, so I'll let y'all take it away. Spice is one of these teams that like they're good. They're good. That's all I know about them. They're good. Zerxay cut his hair, so he automatically no longer my favorite player.
I guess I'll take it from you then. So, team is really if there's one thing they're really good at, they're so good at causing so much stress in my life that I can't even explain whether or not, whether or not they're even in the LCS half the time. One minute I think they're a good team, they're like, wait, what? I thought you were supposed to be good. Then when I think you're a bad team, then they automatically show up. So which version of Splice are we going to see in the summer split? That's what I want to find out from this team, because if they're going to be contending for a world spot, they have to be more consistent. And we've seen glimmers of hope through Otoamne, through Kabi, Niski. They're very consistent, and any one of them can step up at any time. But who's going to be the primary carry of the team? You also got Kasing over there, who is also who's always been a good support in my opinion. He's had that kind of good balance between mechanical skill and shot calling. And I think this is the team that is definitely going to contest for a world spot. It's only a matter of whether or not they can find the consistency they need to Worlds. I have them placing at the 3rd seed in the regular season.
So you see them make it to Worlds? You think they can?
I think they can do it. It's possible. Like I said, they just got to figure out what's going to be your primary win condition and how consistent can you actually be in the regular season, where because you want to have a high seed in playoffs. It's the only way you can actually guarantee a playoff bye, and B, you won't have to face some of these lower tier teams, so you can hide traps.
All right. So, anyone else's opinion on this? I like it, team.
Yep, they're very, very good.
I think the problem with Spice is they're like Jerry. If you ever watched Rick and Morty, the dad had his moment listen to this song and said, "I like it." That was Spices. I like it, but they're nothing. They're good. They have moments. The 1v5 where Nissi got 2 kills.
Yep.
Yeah. Splice are really good. They had a slow start because they needed to gel properly through the spring split, and they're a team I thought just were wanting to win summer. I don't have them winning the regular season. I have them coming 3rd, but every player on that team can step up. You've got Odoamne, who's consistently been one of the top laners in EU, generally in consideration for top 3. I think last split with the slow start he had, it wasn't great, but I think this split he's going to be back on form from week 1. You've got Xerxes, who is an amazing jungler. He can pull out whatever champion he wants, and you're going to get something special. You've got Niski in the mid lane, that now he's settled into the team, he's going to perform really well. He's someone I've really liked when he was on Envy. He's someone I've liked all throughout the spring splits, but maybe week 1. Because he is a good player as long as he has the communication. Then you have Koba and you have Kasing, who are amazing players, and they might not be the best laning bot lane, but they're one of the best team fighting bot lanes. You've got Kasing, he only really plays the range supports. So they might be a bit low on tanks this split, with the jungle being more carry focused. But it's a team which I can see them getting the number 2 seed out of EU to Worlds.
I feel like also with sorry to cut you off with the meta shift. You get a lot of tanks, not a lot of tanks everywhere. They're not safe place you can pick with somebody that's gonna take a carry and just, the Conqueror being a thing, and Yasuo doing 2 damage. Number 2 damage. So yeah, I agree with you. I think they're a second. They could be a second team. They might be a first place. This is my sneaky pick.
My preseason prediction for finals is I have Fnatic versus Splyce is the final. That's gonna be the big game in Madrid. And yeah, I think G2 is getting 3rd place, which will put them as the final boss in the gauntlet.
Final round.
I think my thoughts on this team is a little different. I don't think they're any worse than they were, but I don't think they're going to improve to the point where they keep where they were for me. I have them just dropping 1 place lower as opposed to being a 3rd place team. I think they will be 4th place with ideally Misfits popping up into that area.
All right.
Boy, the confidence Misfits is real. I admire you. I basically have them as 4th as well. I don't think the meta benefited them as much as other teams, mainly Vitality and G2 that are their 2 closest competitors. And also, guys, we have Jankos on a carry jungler meta. How are you guys forgetting that?
That's true.
I think you can hear me.
That is true.
That's true.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I have them as 4th. I think they will be a very solid team, just not as good as Vitality or G2. So yeah, they will be into semis, definitely.
Titan, what's your opinion on the...
Yeah, I think that judging by everything, not just seeing this type of champion, or this type of team, Xerxes is the best jungler in he's the most all-round jungler in League. And when you have that as a base, your team is really, really good. I see Splyce as a 2nd team. I see them stepping up against Fnatic in the final, and that will probably be a much closer final than the one we had in Copenhagen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, speaking of
That's
that,
blasphemy
let's talk
against
about...
Helios, you're right there.
Before we go on, what are the odds that Odo Omni crashes another one of Kissing's interview just to give him another kiss?
Parent.
200%?
Yeah, 200-300%.
900%.
I still can't get over that clip, honestly.
Okay, so the next game, one of the most surprising finals, because everyone watched the finals, and spoiler alert, it was sweeps on both ends. G2 didn't get a game of Fnatic. They looked lost. It was pretty much Reckless doing whatever the hell he wanted to do, and it was Crooks looked team was just that's my feeling of this team. Oh my god, Is it going to be more of the No, do something good. Wait a minute, who's a G2 fan? Anyone who actually like G2?
Do they have fans?
They have fans, yeah, but I don't think anyone of...
Okay, also, you're going to have Ocelot tweeting at us.
I think someone's gonna clobber our faces,
Like,
one way or another.
I respect...
I mean,
I'm not
Ocelot, if you're willing to pay me, I'm willing to be a G2 fan until the end. Oh wait, that's Liquid. Sorry, I apologize.
I guess I can start.
Yeah, sure.
Go for it.
I like the team. I like all of the players. I hate the coaching staff. That's what it boils down to for me. All the players, they can be egotistical a bit, just a little bit. But they can back up their trash talk whenever they do it. They are
Wait,
incredibly
time out.
likable as well. Yeah, what? What's the timeout for?
You telling me that Perks, the same person, when got grouped with COG, the same team at MSI that beat him twice, said, "Oh, I got paired up with 2 wildcard teams." Have an ego? I'm shook. I am so shook right now.
Yeah. But yeah, I like the team.
I like the team. They're going to come out swinging for summer. They want
revenge.
Yeah, they want revenge. I have them finishing second in the regular season, but I think they're going to falter at semi-finals. I think they're going to run out of steam, and I don't think Grabs is a good enough coach to get this team to finals. I have them coming third, like I said when I was talking about Splice. But I think my problem with this team falls down to the fact that I don't think Grabs is good enough to pair this team well enough, and I don't think the coaching staff, any analysis they have, I don't think that they can make Yankos become them a lot more consistent. Like, we know, like, I also think that Xerxes is the best jungler in EU, but I think Yankos has the highest ceiling, but he also has a pretty low floor. And we're going to see something special this split with Yankos on carries, but I think it's the issue where they're not going to do great, because I see them coming up against Misfits, really. Misfits or Splice. I think both those teams can pair a lot better than G2. I like the coaching staff a lot more, and I think that's what keeps them at the finals.
All right. Anyone else's opinion? Shadow, your opinion on G2 Esports?
First of all, I want to stand by it. The angry or want revenge narrative is the most nonsense narrative there is in esports. It's just not a thing. Like, teams might be upset that they lost, but that doesn't just suddenly mean they play well. That doesn't mean I don't think G2 is going to play well. I think they're still on paper one of, if not the best teams. I think Fnatic can probably still have that for now. But I don't think G2 is going to suddenly just come out swinging harder because they lost. I think they'll probably stay up near the top. I think they'll have a chance into playoffs, or I think they'll make it into playoffs without too much worry. And I think they'll have a chance for finals, but I expect them to lose in semis. I expect Misfits to actually be in the finals. But I think they'll probably win third, fourth.
All right. So,
yeah, I honestly disagree. I think they're the second best team. Perks, Jankos, and Wonder are all really good. And if we look at the top lane, Cabochart was good. Odomne was very average. Last split, that's a question mark. When Odomne is not consistent, that's not good. So I think G2 will do better. I think the meta is going stronger in their direction. I don't think they will win the split, but I think they will be in second place. They could end third or fourth, but I think they will be second.
Okay. Anyone else want to talk?
Yes, I want to make a little prediction here that G2 are going to come out of the gates this split swinging. They are going to go undefeated until Rift Rivals. At which point the NA teams just show us, oh, this is how you beat them, and then they're going to plummet. They will catch themselves in time for playoffs, but they will end up third, in my opinion.
But I have a question. You beat them to the bot lane. Well, never mind. We're actually talking about the best bot ADC EU right now. Because, I said some things about Reckless. I think he heard it. I don't know how. And he decided every moment I'm going to say, we're all living in his world. Reckless world, and we just living in it. You can't give him Callista. You can't give him Kennen. You can't give him Silver. Can you give him Mash? No, you can't give him that too. I'm pretty sure you can't give him Urgot. I think he could beat you in Urgot ADC.
The thing is, you don't ban 580 carries in one series.
I think you have to with him.
Reckless can play almost anything.
I don't
even that.
Reckless
And like, who did that? Was that Live or
I think that was Vitality.
Vitality? Yeah.
But yeah, Reckless. But it used to be the Reckless show. Now the Caps and Brippo and Broxa, and now you have this team at MSI was pretty. They had their moments near the end. They kind of tapered off. They got swept, but they got swept by the champions. They're in RNG.
Yeah, I think Fnatic performed exactly how everyone expected at MSI.
Okay.
Like,
So,
no
guys,
surprise.
it's just Fnatic just at Worlds now. Fnatic is just going. They already have their tickets. They already have their hotels.
Oh yeah, they're definitely going to Worlds.
Yeah, I think Fnatic definitely makes it at least, if at worst, second seed.
They already have the points.
Yeah, I have. Okay, if Fnatic is the now Fnatic have the first seed, that means they have a chance of another first seed in. Would you be scared if Fnatic fans are? Would you be scared of that happening? Let's say hypothetically, there are two choices: obviously the VCN representative, which we don't know who that is, and the NA representative. Would you fear if somehow, let's say hypothetically, I'm going to say this, TSM, because we'll talk about them soon, if they make it and there's Fnatic and TSM in a group? Because we really need to talk about them. They're the best team in Europe right now. This is Worlds for them. Can they get out of groups?
Easy.
What group situation would give you most fear? If like a...
Okay, the group situation that gives me the most fear for Fnatic is if they get... I'm predicting to come out first. If you have RNG as the second seed out of China, which is...
I don't think
there's potential for it to happen.
No, yeah,
We're talking about a hypothetical group. So the group that would give me the most fear would be number 2 from Korea, number 2 from China, and Cloud9. That's the only group where I would even have a doubt they get out.
Yeah, I think your scariest scenario is the second seeds from China, Korea, and then getting a first seed from NA.
Okay. So, but
Yeah, but I don't
Okay,
think you
the
can
question
get that if you're the first seed from Europe. And yeah, they will be the first seed from Europe.
Yeah,
we are having them winning.
I think Fnatic looks a lot less powerful than they did last split, and I think someone like Reckless isn't just suddenly like undoubtedly the best AD carry. I think at MSI we saw a lot of Reckless is not as untouchable as people thought he was in Europe, and I think a lot of it is because Europe's had its AD carry pool has always been not its star point, but also lost its other really big AD carry in Sven. But even still, I think someone like Samix is going to step up enough. I think Attila is going to step up. I think Steelback actually might be able to do stuff with the new support. And I think that we won't see Fnatic just win every balling.
So you're telling me that some of them going to become... Because he was at the play Prey, Double Lift, Uzi. You think one of them going to become that next Prey, Double Lift, or Uzi?
No, but Reckless got smashed in all those games. I'm saying that he's not going to smash his games.
Okay. So, okay, everyone, go around. Who do you think the 3 representatives for EU, LCS, and South Korea still there this this world?
So, EU, I have Fnatic, Splice, and G2. Those are my three teams that I'd send from EU. LPL, I've got IG,
No,
RNG,
just for EU.
and
Just for
RNG.
EU. Just for EU.
Yeah,
Got
but
it.
it's like if you're thinking like what they're going up against, I think
No, I'm talking about just for EU right now.
yeah, just for EU. Like I have my predictions for LPL, I have my predictions for LCS, I have my prediction for NA, and I think the teams that went to MSI are most likely going to be the first seeds from their regions.
Not Team Liquid.
Yeah, and I don't think that anyone can truly challenge Fnatic for first place. There are teams that will step up, they'll look like they can do something, and then they'll get into game versus Fnatic, and then they have two options in top lane. They have Guifo, who's going to grow throughout this split. He already showed he can compete at the international level after only 10 games maybe at LCS. Imagine what Guifo is going to look like after a full split. And then you've also got Reckless. He's the best AD carry from EU. I don't think anyone can take that from him. He might not smash his lanes, but that's because he isn't really going to be the main focus for Fnatic going forwards. He's still the
It's
basic.
Caps.
Yeah, it's Caps. Fnatic are going to play around Caps because Caps is their win condition, and Reckless should be their second option. Everyone loves Reckless, everyone thinks he's amazing, and yeah, he is amazing. But Caps is the future of that team, he is the future face of the team, and I honestly think you can put Caps in a conversation in the cut. I don't think he is, but you can put him in the conversation for top mid laner in the world. I definitely put him in top 5.
That is a good craft list. I'm only been here for a year. Okay.
Alright, so my predictions for EU LCS, I'd probably go. I'd plan on it being Fnatic, Misfits, G2 in that order. I think, assuming everything goes well, G2 will be one of the best teams, and I think they'll probably give Fnatic a fight. I still think Fnatic is just ahead of the rest of the EU LCS teams right now, but I don't think it's going to be as dominant as it was for Fnatic last split.
Okay. My 3 teams. This is for me because I want to see this. It's Fnatic, Splyce, and Vitality. I just want to see Gilead at Worlds. I just want to see this.
We've already seen it.
I want to see it again.
Yeah, that's true.
I want him
We've
talking
seen
shit
it.
to Peter. I want him talking shit to Peter. I want this to happen.
Okay.
Yes, sir?
My 3 teams, I gotta be realistic. It's gonna be Fnatic, G2, and Splyce. As much as I want Vitality at Worlds, I don't think they have the versatility right now that
God
they're going to
Gilead.
need at the. God Gilead doesn't have versatility or a Smite King.
Heresy.
Heresy, yeah. Okay, so Jedi, I'm gonna change your mind right now about leaving G2 out because Jankos is the pro player in EU that has the most games in Taliyah jungler.
And Perks is a thing, you know. Perks is a really good mid
Well,
laner too.
Purse disrespected who he? He disrespected my man.
It was 2 years ago!
Everyone
remember-
disrespects Huhi.
And
I
then
don't-
Wuhi. Hold on. So basically, here is if I'm getting this right, the top teams disrespect CLG, and then CLG disrespect wild cards, and Supermassive. So I don't know. Is CLG like the monkey in the middle?
Yep.
Okay, we can talk about them later. Titan, you do your 3 teams, and then No, we could talk. No, we could talk about NA. We could do this. We could talk about all of NA and laugh at some teams. Oh, we're gonna laugh.
Yeah. My top 3 is quite simple. It's Fnatic first. There is absolutely no question in my mind that they will win this. Splice is second. G2 is third.
Now, what somehow Fnatic don't make it because we all bet in it and our luck sucks? Okay, well...
Yeah, we're all jinxing Fnatic at the same time, so that's good.
Yes, we are! Okay, guys, thanks for watching.
Wait,
Have
my
fun.
prediction!
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't? Did you? I thought you predict.
No. Well, it's no surprise by now. It's Fnatic number 1, G2 number 2, number 3 it's Vitality.
Yes.
We will see our prophet Gilius in the stage. He will be attacked, but he won't be defeated.
Holly beat our name. All right. Thanks for watching this fun event. We had fun by doing it. I think y'all got a little bit smarter. We got a little bit wiser. You think the puns that I had for this? Those wait for NA, which comes up to you later. Like and subscribe. Check out the Discord. We all be there.
Of course. Yeah.
All right, and bye.